Shabbat Shalom, everyone. That was very unenthusiastic. I feel like we have to try that again. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Oh, perfect. Welcome. I'm so glad to be able to see you all and be with you this morning as we celebrate Shabbat together, and of course, as we celebrate Ava Stern becoming Bat Mitzvah. Ava has worked very hard to prepare for this day, and so everything that you'll experience in our service is really the service that Ava has wanted to lead and to be able to share with you. So I hope that you will sing along, that you will read along, that you will participate so that we can really enjoy these moments together. So we're going to start our service today on page 172 as we start with the singing of Ma Tovu. Ma tovu alecha Yaakov, alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu alecha Yaakov, alecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, va'ani berov chastecha avo veitecha eshtachave elecha l'kodshecha b'yiratecha. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. So it is now my honor to invite our Bat Mitzvah forward to lead us in our service this morning, and we're also going to invite her grandfather at the same time to be able to place the talit on her. Yamod Avirutz Bat Yochanan v'Nechama Bat Mitzvah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvah sav b'hatif azitzi. And this came from Israel, from Jerusalem, so always wear it in good health. Love you.
Shabbat Shalom. Our service begins on page 170 in the Blue Prayer Book. May my life be one and a link in a chain of goodness. As I say the prayers of my ancestors, help me recall their devotion and faithfulness, their joy and suffering, which are in every word. Holiness is in my heritage, may I be worthy of it. May our tradition live in me and pass from me to generations I shall never know, enriched by the truth that I have found. So may I fulfill my task on earth and receive my blessing. And when the service ends and the prayers have ceased, help me to bring their spirit into the world which I live. May I love God above all, my neighbors as myself, and be a living witness to the truth that never changes. Please turn to page 195 and rise to the call to worship.
Yada da da da, 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 yada da da da. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Yada-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvarei choshech oseh shalom uvarei et hakol hameir la'aretz biladarim alecha berachamim uvtuvov mechadesh bechol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai kulam b'chokhma asita mala ha'aretz kinyanecha titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al shebach ma'aseh yadecha ve'al me'orei or she'asita Yifa'arucha Selah or Hadash al Zion Ta'ir V'nizkeh Chulanu Mehera Le'oro Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer HaMe'orot. The world is sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes, more welcome than gold. A Torah from heaven. I have no light to give the morning. My Torah, my special human gift, is words, as they bring them forth from the silence. Welcome them, you who redeems the sun from darkness. Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer HaMe'orot. We join in singing the Shema at the top of page 200.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Shem Kevod Malachuto Le'olam Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווה בך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, for soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Let's sing Mi Chamocha on page 204. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot, Osei Belev. Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? When Moses and the children crossed the sea, they sang to you with songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai? Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh.
Please turn to page 205 and rise for Tefillah. Adonai sifatai tifta ufi agi tefilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Hasei Avot v'Imachot, U'mevi Gevula Livnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo v'Ahava, Melech Hoser u'Mashiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah L'Oshiach, Mechakeh ha'id b'chesed, Mesayeh hakol b'rachamim rabim. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות, ומי דומה לך? מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיע ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. You are the open door that beckons me in. Peeking around the door frame, I begin to enter your glory. You move me forward, O Eternal, to step beyond self-made boundaries. I lift my foot over the threshold that I might abide with you. In the house of the Eternal, I found my questions waiting to be posed. They filled me with wonder. Sit with me, eternal teacher, encourage my seeking. As I fill my hours with your mitzvot, so shall I be filled. Send me through your door, stretching up to honor your name, sharing out this wonder, enriching myself in the giving.
And we join in Kedusha on page 208. Nikadesh et shimcha ba'olam, keshem shemakdishim oto v'shmei marom, kakatuv v'yad neviyecha, v'kara ze el ze ve'amar, kadosh, 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 Adonai Tsevaot, Meloch haaretz kevodo. Adir adirenu Adonai Adonenu ma'adir shimcha b'chol haaretz. Baruch kevod Adonai mimkomo. Echadu Eloheinu Hu Avinu Makenu, Hu Moshienu V'Hu Yashmienu, V'Rachamav Le'enei Kochai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai Le'olam, Elohai Tzion, Ledor vador, Hallelujah. Ledor vador nagid God lecha, Ulenetzach netzachim kadushatcha nagdish, V'shivcha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush, Leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. On page 212. On this Shabbat day, as you graciously receive our prayers, help us to hear your call. Grant us enough health to fulfill our duties and the compassion we need to attend to others. Teach us humility that we may perceive our own faults, and grant us the wisdom to be forgiving of others. Give us the courage to be true to our highest selves and the charity to see the best in those around us. Give us patience enough not to become discouraged, hope enough to overcome all fears for the future, and faith enough to know your presence. O source of blessing, look with favor upon us. May our offerings be acceptable to you. Baruch atah Adonai she'otcha levadcha b'yira na'avod. And we join in a prayer for peace with the words of Sim Shalom on page 216. Sim, sim, sim shalom, sim, sim, sim shalom, sim, sim, sim shalom, tova uveracha. Yai dai 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 dai. Ya dai 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 dai. Ya dai 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 dai. Ya dai sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. We reach now this break in our service that helps divide us between shacharit, between the morning prayers, and what Rabbi Michael usually calls the moment you've all been waiting for, is when we have the opportunity to be able to hear Ava read from the Torah. But we know that every time that we hear someone read from Torah, that it's not just their words and their voice that we're hearing, that really it is the voice of her parents and her grandparents and her great-grandparents and generations back, each of whom have read and studied these sacred scriptures. And so symbolically, before she reads, we pass the Torah through the generations of her family until it rests safely in her arms. We also have a tradition that Ava today is going to be just like Moses on Mount Sinai, and she is going to be able to bring the Torah to you. So when she does that, she is going to walk around the room carrying the Torah, and it's a tradition, if you like. Sometimes people like to reach out with their hands or with their sidurim, their prayer books, and touch the Torah just as a way to honor it. Not a requirement, but still an opportunity for you to get a little bit closer to the Torah. So this time I would ask, if you will, please rise so that we can take our Torah from the ark. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lahar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lahar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. All right, so Oliver, hold on a second. Have you go again? You're down there. We call this the musical chairs part of our service. Beautiful. L'dor v'dor nagid gadlecha. From generation to generation, we praise God's greatness. And from generation to generation, we pass our Torah from grandparent to parent to child. And we sing the words of Ki Mitzion on page 246. Wait, don't walk right yet. Hold on a second. Okay. Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah. Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah. Udavor Adonai Mirushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo. Now go for it. Lecha Adonai Hagedul V'Gevura V'Hatiferet V'Hanetzach V'Hahod Ki Chol B'Shamayim U'Va'aretz Ki Chol B'Shamayim U'Va'aretz Lecha Adonai HaMamlecha V'minaseh L'chol Rosh. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim Ha'olam Omed. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. Al Torah ve'al avoda ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al Torah ve'al avoda ve'al gemilut chasadim. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev, lo yimadu on milchama. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev, lo yimadu on milchama. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev, lo yimadu on milchama. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev, lo yimadu on milchama. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev, lo yimadu on milchama. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev, lo yimadu on milchama. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev, lo yimadu on milchama. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev, lo yimadu on milchama. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev, lo yimadu on milchama. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev, lo yimadu on milchama. So, our Torah reading for this morning is from Parshat Noach, and the blessings before the Torah reading can be found on page 250.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Ele toldot Noach, ish tzadik, tamim haya v'dorotav, et ha'elohim hitalech Noach, v'yoled Noach shlosha banim, et Shem, et Ham, v'et Yafet, v'tishachet ha'aretz lifnei ha'elohim, v'timalech ha'aretz hamas. Bayar Elohim et haaretz b'chinei yishchata yishchid kol basar et darko al haaretz. Vayomer Elohim leNoach ketz kol basar va lefanai yimalach haaretz chamas mipnehem. V'hineni mashitam et haaretz, aseh lecha tevat, aseh gofer kinim, taseh et hateva, v'chafarta ota, mibayit umichutz v'gofer. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu et Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan v'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. So it is our tradition to lift the Torah in the air so that you can see what Ava just read to make sure that she did it right. She did. It was perfect. So we're going to invite John to come forward to lift the Torah for us, and I'll ask you all to please rise.
Ready? Hurry up.
Behold, HaTorah Asher Sam Moshe Lifnei B'nai Yisrael Al Pi Adonai B'yad Moshe. This is the Torah which Moses placed before the people of Israel. God's words through the hand of Moses.
Please be seated. We'll invite Oliver to come and dress it. And just in case it wasn't obvious, because Noah is so close to the beginning of the Torah, it means it's much heavier and more awkward than it normally is. So that's why John gets the reward for the feats of strength.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'mi'im tovim v'ratzav b'divrechem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habacher b'torah of Moshe avdo v'Yisrael Amo v'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek.
Amen.
Ra'ni akara lo yaladach piti rina v'tzahali lo chala ki rabim b'nei shomema v'fnei v'ula Amar Adonai, Archivi mekom ohalech, v'riot mishkenotayich, yatu al tachsochi, ha'arichi etarayich, v'tadotayich chazeki, yamin usimo tifrotzi, v'zarech Goyim Yirash V'Arim Neshamot Yoshivu Al Tiri Ki Lo Tevoshi V'Al Tikal Ki Lo Tachpiri Ki Boshet Alimayich Tishkachi B'cherpat al-menutayich lo tizkiri od ki v'layich osayich Adonai tzvaot shemo v'goal lech kedosh Yisrael Elohei kol haaretz yikarei. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol ha'olamim tzadik b'chol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ועושה המדבר ומקיים שכל דבריו אמת וצדק על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו לקדושה ולמנוחה לכבוד ולתפארת על הכל אדוני אלוהינו אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת אמן. Embrace change. Do not get caught up in your ideas of what you think is right. The only way we can move forward as a society is by considering others' ideas while still fighting for what we believe is right. This is one of the mistakes Noah made. Shabbat Shalom. The Torah portion that I chanted today was Noah. In Noah's story, Noah is the only person his age acting reasonably. The translation says Noah was blameless in his age. God realizes that most of the people in the world are immoral and decides to flood the earth. God saves Noah, his family, and 2 of every animal by warning Noah about the flood and telling him to build an ark. Noah builds the ark, and God gets 2 of every animal to go inside. It rains for 40 days and nights while Noah is safe in his ark. After some time, Noah tries to find land, so he sends a raven out, and the raven comes back to the ark empty-handed. Then Noah sends a dove, and the dove comes back with an olive branch, which means land is near. Noah goes to the land, and God promises not to flood the earth again by making a rainbow. When God told Noah his plan about building the ark, Noah never stopped to say what he thought or considered how others' ideas could contribute to help him stand up for what he believed. If Noah had talked to people instead of following exactly what God told him to do, the story I'm sharing with you today would have been much different. We would be discussing how maybe Noah convinced people to act better. People in Noah's story could have improved or expanded on Noah's idea of what is right. Noah may have not have been able to change everyone's opinions, but at least he would have tried. Even if people do not listen, consider, or care, that does not mean it is not worth trying to convince them. If Noah could have at least made one person consider what he was saying, it could have changed that person's life for the better. One of the people in our recent history who stood up for what he believed in while still listening to others is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. MLK stood up for what he thought was right. He gave lots of amazing speeches that convinced tons of people, but there are still people who do not even care to listen or consider what he was saying. That did not stop MLK from trying, because he believed in his message, no matter who he thought was going to listen. Another civil rights leader was Malcolm X. Malcolm X did a lot of similar things to MLK, but he did things with more violent actions. Both people had an impact on our country, but MLK is taught about in schools more and has a holiday honoring him. I think this is because MLK spent time listening and convincing people instead of using violence. In the Torah, Noah is described as blameless in his age. That does not mean Noah is perfect. The people of that time were not behaving morally, so the measure of good people was not very high. Noah was the best of the worst. If we could teleport Noah to this age, and he did not have to worry about saving all the animals and his family, then he would probably be a normal, unexceptional person. Similarly, if we could reimagine history in which MLK did not have to worry about fighting for the civil rights of African American people, then I would have liked to imagine him fighting for the other minority groups like the LGBTQ community. If Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was alive now, I think he would still be a person who would want to make a difference in the world and who stood up for what he believed in. I believe MLK would be exceptional in any time of history. If Noah, however, were to be alive in any other age, he probably would not be a hero because he did not stand up for what he believed in. Not only does Noah's story compare to other historical figures, but also relates to my own life as a student, especially in group project work. Usually with a lot of group projects, I am the one doing most of the work. Rather than accept this because I care about my grade, I could improve on my teamwork and leadership skills by working harder to involve other group members. Some people are willing to put work in, but they don't excel at parts of the project, like writing. There could be another reason they don't contribute, such as something happening in their life elsewhere. I could try to give people a role in a group project that could still be helpful, but that works with their specific strengths. For example, some people may be focused on other things in life, so they might need a quicker role in a group project. Others might be really good at art, for example, and they could work on the design. Not everyone is going to do an equal part, and that is okay. But does that mean I should stop trying to get people to help? A little help is better than nothing, and I might learn something from their contributions. There are going to be plenty of people who just do not care, will not do anything, but it's important to try to give them options to work on. Some days, I do not come into a group project with the best mindset. I don't go and lead the group, I just do whatever section I'm assigned. That is what I think Noah did. He was around tons of people who were not acting morally, and he was pretty stressed about building the ark in time and getting all the animals on safely, so he just did exactly what God told him to do. He was not an amazing leader, but even some of the best leaders have moments like this. Dr. Martin Luther King probably had at least one day where he did not feel like giving a speech or writing one, so he may have just done the bare minimum that day. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was a famous Jewish Supreme Court justice, once said something biased against the current president. As a justice, she should not have shown bias. Later in an interview, she just admitted that that day she made a mistake. What I like about this story is that she made a mistake, but she admitted it and moved on. What I think everyone should learn from this is that people make mistakes, people come into a room unprepared or not ready to work because of something else going on in their life. Sometimes that person who's not doing anything in a group project is not always just doing it to annoy me or get a good grade because of my work. Sometimes they just need empathy and help finding the right role for them in that moment. What I would like you to take away from my speech today is this: strive to leave a legacy that is good more than just for your time. Leave a legacy that is good no matter when someone looks back on it. Stand up for what you believe in while still listening and giving empathy to others. The only way to make what you say meaningful to people is to listen and consider what they have to say, even if you do not agree. Thank you. I'd like to take a moment now to thank everyone who supported me at my bat mitzvah. To Rabbi Michael and Rabbi Amy for learning with me all about Noah and guiding me through the process of my mitzvah. Tamor Tzivia, the tutor who is so much more. Thank you for your patience in working with me and continuing to encourage me. Thank you to Elliot, my favorite teller, for making Hebrew lessons something to look forward to. To Mom and Dad, for creating an amazing party and doing everything for me, from supporting me to helping with school. To Savannah and Oliver. Thank you for helping me with my service day and always being there for all things video games, school, and Hebrew. To Grandma, for always being supportive and there for a hug or a chat. To Gammy and Papa. For sponsoring the brunch on Sunday and for always being there to support and encourage me. To Uncle Zach. For his creative genius and to make my entire bat mitzvah weekend look and feel amazing. To Aunt Sharon and Uncle Zach, Aunt Jen and Uncle Ken, Aunt Adair, Aunt Brooke, Aunt Heather, Aunt Mel and Uncle Rich, thank you for traveling from near and far with me, for contributing to the bean basket for the Harvey Corn Bloom Pantry. I volunteered there this week with my religious school class, and it was a great experience. Thank you to all the people who donated art supplies for KidSmart as a part of my mitzvah project. To my favorite makeup and hair artists, Mo, Sam, and Maddie, for making me look my best today. To my dogs, Nano and Pico. Thank you for Thank you for protecting me from squirrels, delivery people, and other dogs. And for being the best dogs. And finally, to everyone for being here today. Shabbat Shalom.
You did it? I am so proud of you. It is a unique experience to watch you today, and the expression bursting with pride must have come from a parent like me watching a bat mitzvah student like you lead a service with such poise and grace, and I am just so proud. This expression describes how I feel perfectly. One of my favorite parts of this bat mitzvah process was discussing your Torah portion with you. I remember after your first meeting with Rabbi Amy, driving to school, when you told me about imagining the impact different people in history could make if teleported to another time. I was blown away. Your ideas are so mature and interesting that you constantly push me to view the world differently through your eyes. Ava, I love the mature adult that you're becoming. I treasure our morning car rides to school where we discuss all sorts of topics, from abortion to discrimination to school shootings and current events around the world. I always find myself thinking about your perspective long after I've dropped you off. Of course, this shouldn't come as a surprise to me, as you have always challenged my thinking with your creative and unique perspectives. You were about 8 years old when you declared that the letter C should not be included in the alphabet. Its K sound is already covered by the K, and its K sound is already covered by the S, you reasoned. This idea had never occurred to me before you introduced it. Further, it introduced the fictional characters of Bob and George to our world. In our home, whenever we need a scapegoat, we blame Bob and George. An extra letter in the alphabet? What were Bob and George thinking? A mystery bite taken out of a donut? Bob, George. And when you started learning French, we quickly turned our blame game to Robert and Georges. Another example of your creativity revealed itself to me around 3rd grade when you started getting the dreaded homework. You would bring home spelling bingo sheets where you would have to choose practice exercises from a worksheet to complete a row. In true Ava fashion, you combined all the assignments into one, writing your spelling words in pen, in alphabetical order, in under a minute to knock out 3 assignments in one. For this, you earned the nickname Loophole, and you have taken it to heart in creatively solving problems as much as you can. But, Miss Loophole, there was no loophole to your bat mitzvah prep. You put in a lot of hard work, and it all paid off today. Of course, if you had any issues, we would call on Robert and George. Now, for a little parental advice. I won't tell you all about the curveballs life has to throw you, but I will tell you this. It's more about how you handle things than about the circumstances thrown your way. When the stakes are low or the task unimportant, find the loophole and move on. When it really matters, put in the work. The path you walk may not always be something you control, but walk it with grace and creativity, just as you have in the past. Keep working hard, not for good grades, but for curiosity and learning's sake. Never stop questioning the world, and share your ideas. I think you will leave a legacy that is great in any time. I love you.
I'll have to follow that. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Shabbat Shalom, Oliver. I just want to take a couple seconds to recognize you, Angie. Babe, you did it. This was all you. It was really amazing and wonderful, and I just want to thank you, and I can't thank you and praise you enough for the amazing job you did today. I love you. I also want to thank Mom and Dad and Mom who are joining us today, Gammy and Pawpaw and Grandma. It's an honor for you to be here today, and we're honored by your presence. Ava, do you remember that time we were in Hyrule? We'd work for hours, maybe days, finding those 3 stones so we could enter the Temple of Time. Those heart doors kind of remind me in the near Tamid of where the Master Sword was hidden. I thought for sure when we got the Master Sword the adventure was over, but it was just beginning. Have you been to Hyrule? I see from some of the smiles on the faces some people have, but for the uninitiated, Hyrule is a virtual destination you can only access through the Legend of Zelda game series. Oh, it's so cool. It's got mountains and monsters and swords and weapons, but I digress. Let me get back to my speech. Ava, your bar mitzvah is one of the greatest challenges you will have faced in your lifetime. In one way or another, you've been preparing for this day for your entire life. I hope you will continue to reflect on this process, the people that supported you, and the success you've achieved. Occasions like this are very important because they help build a foundation for improvement in your life. Study the success and gain wisdom so that you may achieve everything you want in life. You have filled my heart with nachas, and I wish all the parents out here today the same feeling. It's official. Today you're a bat mitzvah. The change that we're celebrating is not only difficult, but transformative. Mom and I no longer have complete control over your spiritual journey. Did we ever really? You get to think about and choose what kind of woman you want to become. Your Jewish life will be filled with a lot more I want to versus I have to. I'm excited to see and support the choices you make. The basis of your morality has been built through 13 years of family and Jewish education. Now is the time you will learn who you really want to be and the woman you will become. Thankfully, you're not alone. Your family, your community are here to support you. The beauty of today is this transition. You're leaving behind a life of childish things, except Zelda, and beginning an equally fulfilling journey figuring out how to truly be a good adult. Instead of sitting in class, you're now able to teach and be a model for others. Whereas before you worked to memorize, now you'll begin to understand deeper meanings and question beliefs. You were always a child that thought very deeply and created innovative ideas. Now you're free to take this mindset and apply it to your life. In one of our early meetings with Rabbi Michael, I mentioned I was less than thrilled with Noah being your portion. It always struck me so odd how Noah just followed orders without questions or the slightest resistance, especially in the perilous times he lived and in comparison to other heroes of the Bible like Abraham. Still, there is a wonderful ending that Rabbi Amy talked about last night that I hope you will appreciate and also give some thought to. Following the flood, we're taught everyone in the world exists in peace, speaking one language, living in one land. When God sees this, he introduces diversity of language into the world. I hope when you look at others, you will not think this person is less than, or I am more than, or this person is more than me. I hope you will see the divine inspiration, as the portion tells us, and be inclusive without sacrificing your own identity. Wow, that was deep. Let's come up for a little air and go back to Hyrule. At the very beginning of the very first adventure, there was a scene where we entered a cave with nothing but courage and ambition. We met this wise old man who implored us, "It's dangerous to go alone. Take this sword." Well, Ava, you're beginning a new spiritual journey, and it is dangerous to go alone. You can continue to explore and fulfill your Jewish learning, or not. I know you will be thoughtful, respectful, and balanced in the next steps as a Jewish woman. As someone who has been learning and growing as a Jewish adult, I can tell you the rewards are worth the effort. Honestly, Ava, your growth as a Jewish adult this year has been remarkable. Mom and I did our best to place you with the right teacher and the right schools, but ultimately the hard work that has brought you this experience was up to you. You did it. Watching you develop and grow into Bat Mitzvah has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. It has been a blessing. I love you.
All right, Miss Ava, now it's my turn. So first we get to give you a few things. First, we have a certificate that says that indeed, Ava, where did I put your certificate? That's right here. That you became a bat mitzvah today. Knew you could do it. Never doubted it for a second. We also, I hope that at some point on your Jewish journey, you will take a trip to the land of Israel. And this particular gift certificate is actually for a teen tour. So as much as I would like to go with you, what I really hope is that you will go with some of your peers and classmates here, because it's one of the most amazing ways to be able to explore the land, and then just a little gift from the congregation to you. So before I talk about you, I just want to take a moment and talk about your family, because I didn't really get to do this at Oliver's bar mitzvah since it was a COVID mitzvah. So, Sivya and I were talking the other day about sort of the unique challenge of a family like yours. Because we hear in Noah about what it means to be an Ish Tzaddik B'Zorotav, a person who is the most righteous in his generation. And there is something to be said for Anashim Tzaddikim B'Zorotav, for what we do with people or a family who is like pretty darn amazing in their generation. And that is so true when we think about you all, from John rolling Torahs with Rabbi Michael a few years ago, and Angie with the pie baking, and Oliver, who basically helped lead all of the high holiday services with Rabbi Michael and I this year, and Savannah, who's finding her place and becoming the next generation of amazing Stearns in our community. You guys are just, you are a real backbone of this community. And the truth is, there's not really much that we can do to tell you how incredible you are, except to say that thank you, and you make it easy to love this job and to come to work. What I have to say of Ava, though, is I did not know until today that you had the nickname of Miss Loophole. Now, the funny thing about that is that Ava had a loophole for today. Because this past, 2 weeks or so, Rabbi Michael and I had COVID. And so we got, and Rabbi Michael is still home testing positive. And so honestly, you had a loophole. You absolutely could have said, I'm sorry, I can't do the service today. I'm just going to have to do it from home. Or you could have skipped it altogether, or even told your parents. I was like, you could have your family up around you. I didn't know that the dogs were going to be here, but I would have even given you permission to have the dogs on the bima if that would have helped you be more comfortable, because we just thought, oh my gosh, how is Ava going to be able to do this bat mitzvah if Rabbi Michael and I cannot be here? But not only did you not take a loophole, but earlier this week when we gave you sort of those options about what you might need to do, Ava was so calm. You were absolutely prepared, and you were like, not only did she not need us here, she's like, if you are here, can you either stand over there or turn the mic off so that I can lead the service? And I think that is the most remarkable accomplishment. And when we think about what it means to be a bat mitzvah, honestly, it's not leading the service perfectly, which you did. And it's not reading the Torah and Haftarah perfectly, which you did. And it's not giving an amazing Devar Torah, which you did. What makes you about mitzvah is the idea that you knew that on your own, independently, you could have this moment where you showed everyone what you learned and everything you've accomplished, and you didn't need any of us here to stand by your side. So I'm so proud of you. Glad that I did get to be here by your side. It would have been much less fun if I was sitting over there watching from home. But you didn't need me here, because you absolutely today became the adult in the Jewish community that we all knew that you could be. So it's my pleasure now to offer you one final blessing, and I'll ask everyone to please rise. May God bless you and keep you. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. May God's countenance be lifted over you. May it be granted with wholeness and with peace. So we're going to continue now with the words of the Aleinu, which are on the bottom of page 282. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tzeit gedula liyoser breshit, shelo asanu k'gonei ha'artzot, velo samanu b'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo samachakenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim u'mitchavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. And on page 287, V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. So at this time, we are in particular thinking of those dear ones and those members of Ava's family who would have been so proud to be able to witness her here today, but who are no longer with us. We're thinking in particular of Roberta Weintraub, her great aunts, Bernard Fitterman, her great-great-uncle, Frida Goldberg, Gigi, her great-grandmother, Maurice Sonnenworth, her uncle, and Esther and Leonard Steinberg, Mama and Papa, her great-grandparents. So thinking of those and thinking of all those we've lost, we turn to page 294 and we join together in the words of the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitzgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divarach chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'emru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach La'olam Olmei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitzadar v'yitzaleh v'yitzalal Shmei D'Kudusha Barechu La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata ta'amiran ba'alma v'emru amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'emru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'emru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And we say, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru So a few last things before I send you on your way. First, when you leave our services today, if you don't mind, we would so appreciate if you would take your Sidurim, your prayer books, and put them on the little carts where you got them coming in. But before we can send you on your way, it would not be about mitzvah if there wasn't a little something to eat and drink. And so we need to be able to say our motzi and kiddush. And so it's my pleasure to invite up the cousins and the siblings, Madison, Dylan, Chase, Morgan, Samantha, Margot, Nate, Greta, and Oliver, and Savannah, and Ava, of course, to lead us.
Ready?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen.
Is it water? It's grape juice. Are we each? Okay.
It is grape juice.
Wrap it? Or do I get hold it? Oh, wrap it. Okay, you want to hold it? Okay. Baruch
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
All right, so what you can if you want to, but since at least Ava has taken a bite, we are going to invite you all to head on out. I'll sing you out the door. Simma tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simma tov, simma tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simma tov, simma tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simma tov. Yeilanu. I'll create for you. You go on out. Yeilanu, yeilanu. Yisrael, Yeilanu, Yeila. You can follow her so she doesn't feel all alone. Yisrael, Yeilanu, Yeilanu, Yisrael, Yeilanu.